Right, we're on a new day now. While I was waiting for the paint to turn up, the weather changed quite dramatically, so I've got it jacked up now, wheels off, I've dropped the gear oil, take some stuff out from up top. We're going to whip this gearbox out. I've got a new second-hand one to put in. One thing I did manage to do, I've done a sort of test piece, shall we say, just to see what sort of colour match we were going to get, and I think it's pretty close. Obviously I've put no primer on this. It was just a quick sort of job just to see, but we'll get it slapped on, see what happens. So we've got gear cables off here, look, they're tucked up there. I've got that starter bolt out. I think I've got the top two bell housing bolts out. Reverse light switch is unplugged. I'm just gonna undo this clutch cable. Yep, a clutch cable on a 59 plate vehicle. So what have I got? Some mollies on it just to counter hold it there. Just undo it just enough so that we can remove it from this clutch fork. Or maybe we're coming all the way off with it. Oh dear. Unless we can pull it backwards and then bring it out. Come on. Okay, got the drive shaft sort of hanging out now. Taking the two bolts out of the bottom of the shocker. These all were greased up, fell out, so do the same on the other side. It's going to be these two bolts. I've already taken the nut off, I think it was 30mm. And then that shaft should fall out. The hub will drop that way. Then we'll go under, pry bar, and pop the shafts out of the gearbox. I think there's a bit of cross member we have to remove here. I think it comes out separate from the subframe, just to get the gearbox onto the floor. Okay, that's that bolt out. Now that should come away. Could do with my tripod really, but hey ho. Maybe give this a little tippy tap. Oh, not bad one hanging now. Come on. There we go, she's out. Nice. Just get underneath, prise that in the cup. Right, one other thing to mention. When I did an MOT history check on it, there was an advisory for a gear oil leak. And I've done probably less than 2 miles in this with that new gear oil. It's left a patch there, it's dripping out of there. So I think the root cause of all this gearbox issue is it running low on oil and not being rectified. By the looks of it, it's the input shaft seal sort of dripping where the block meets the bell housing. So hopefully, yeah, the new one shouldn't have them issues whatsoever. And now, pry bar up there. Oh. Let's try the other one. Oh dear. Right, well, drive shaft removal hasn't gone to plan. I had to take the inner CV out. I've just got an old used glove on there to stop that getting on me and the floor. This one, I could probably lift the gearbox down with that shaft in place, and I'll have to try and smash it out. Might get better swing with the hammer when I'm on the floor with it. But the new box did come with the shafts in, albeit they were cut, so I wonder whether they struggled or whether they just roughed them out. Next, there's a engine steady up there that needs to come off. There'll be some more starter motor bolts up there that need to come off. That mount, I cracked them off yesterday, and then this, the other end of this cross member, tidy. Okay, next thing we need is this little plastic cover out the way. A couple of clips that should pop out as long as they're not too crusty. Got the mount off from underneath. Bolts out of the starter motor. I've cracked the last bell housing bolt off, so it's started to separate from the block. And next we just want to bit of penetrating oil on there. Is there another one? Don't know. There's a couple in there as well. Right. So there's one bolt sort of tucked behind this bumper I'm going to have to get with a spanner. The rest I'll get with Milky, I think. 14s. Not with one hand, I won't. Here we go again. Another gearbox coming out. So I've got one nut holding it in, and then we've got the mount to undo. Lovely. Okay. Last bolt. The housing. Is it? I think it is. Oh, there's another fucking strap there that I didn't see as well. Twat. Bear with me. Right. Let's try again. Hopefully I've not forgot out this time. Problem we've got, this drive shaft's still in, the cup and the other drive shaft is still in, there's just no room to get it out, so I'm going to say goodbye and come back when it's on the floor. Right then, gearbox is out. Just want to show you the amount of movement that shouldn't be in this input shaft. Look at the state of that. And I think these have got a bit too much in as well. I've tried clouting them. Now I've got it out, hammer and a pry bar, they still won't move, so I'm just going to undo the CV boots, swap my drive shaft into them cups. Yeah, if we compare it to this one, no movement in that, although it looks like the clutch has been slipping like fuck. Lovely, I'll get this prepared and then lift it back in. Right, new clutch is in there, look. Got a release bearing on there. Taking the cut shafts out, swapped any brackets I might need, and I think we're ready to lift it in. Oh God. Right, yeah. Let me fucking go. Right, second smear of filler on there. I've sanded the top back. That's had 2 coats just to bring it up to level. Just sanded this. It's now had a second coat of filler. Just taking that out so I don't scratch it. And yeah, give that a bit to dry and we'll sand it back and hopefully the level is somewhere near. Right, this is the situation at the moment. So I'm just using this, bit of this way, bit of that way. We've got this line starting to come through. There's a couple of low spots. Low spot here where the primer's showing, but the paint is still there, so a bit of filler on there and here. Some craters that need filling. But yeah, now I'm using 400 grit. I could probably go coarser, but I have seen professional body shops, jobs done by professional body shops that have come back with standing marks that you can see in the paint. So if I go for like a 240 or a 120, there's a chance that I'm going to leave the coarse sanding marks, and I don't want that. So although it takes a bit longer using the 400, I'm hoping I'll get a better finish out the other side. First coat of primer, you still see some of the filler primer underneath. Yeah, second coat of primer, then we're going to 1200 all this area. I've got some of this sort of wind proofing, I think, for doors. Just makes, you know, a nice round edge rather than a sharp masking tape edge. Yeah, hopefully it turns out decent. Colour, paintsforyou.com, just off eBay. Get another 2 coats perhaps, see how it looks. I just didn't want to do too big of an area because you never get a decent result out of an aerosol. I'm hoping it isn't too noticeable where I've sort of squared it off. We'll have to see, won't we? That's it. I think there's 4 coats of lacquer. I thought it was a mile off looking at this, but I think this is just a bit of overspray. So with a bit of a polish out and sort of blending in, I don't think that's going to be too bad. I maybe should have gone down to this sort of crease with that, but I didn't want to do too big of an area with an aerosol because the results can be a bit shit basically. But yeah, we'll get it polished probably at the weekend now. It's that 3-4 days time, and hopefully it comes up nice. Right, gonna be transparent with you now. This is my first proper sort of spray repair job. I wasn't happy. I don't think I give myself enough room to blend into the original paint, so I've masked off a wider area. You could tell a mile off. Don't know if the camera will pick it up, but yeah, you could see a mile off the square that I'd painted. So quick couple of videos of YouTube. We're having another go. Hopefully there's a bit of a line here I can still see. Hopefully one more coat of colour and then some lacquer, and it should be an acceptable finish. So I'll let you know. Would you look at the finish on that? That is an invisible repair. That's bird shit. Now I suppose I should offer up a bit more transparency. I didn't paint that. If there's some pictures of the job I did, I'll leave them in. Well, I'll put them up now. I don't think there is though. Yeah, the finish was shocking after I'd, done what I'd done. So I went to see somebody that's done some paint work for me before. Yeah, got a price, about 300 quid. But anyway, then he got on about this Zafira that he's got. It was parked in the corner of his workshop. It's been there for 12 months or so. Whoever had been messing with it had stripped the cylinder head off and taken number one piston out because the top of piston had sort of chipped away or something. So yeah, we came to a deal basically. We did a job for job. So I fit the piston and the cylinder head on his Zafira. He painted this for me. Yeah, we were both happy with it. The Zafira is running. The paintwork is fucking mint. Yeah. And for that little repair right at the start, the little crease on the door, it's had the full side painted. I think to start with he'd done front wing and door. Did he go into the back door? But then, yeah, I don't know if this has been painted before. He couldn't get the colour match right either, so he had to, obviously flat it all off again. Yeah, and I think he's painted, from front bumper to rear bumper on this side, so I think I've done alright there. But yeah, so that didn't cost anything, luckily, because that would have put a bit of a dent in the profit we could gain from it. What's left is to clean it. Gearbox is done, obviously. I know I didn't show you putting that back together, but same as removal, isn't it? But yeah, the old clutch box is there. A creeper that was off the paint block, Jed is his name. Yes, I've started hoovering out the boot and whatnot. The exterior isn't that dirty, so yeah. I do have it for sale on Facebook. I've got it up for 1,895, which I think might be a touch too much. But if we get anywhere near that, we're going to be looking at about £1,000 in profit. With that in mind, if I haven't removed already, we should remove 200 quid for the gearbox. And we should also remove, that's not the invoice, I think it's inside, the £86 something for the clutch and the gear oil. We'll do that now. I'm probably going to have to put an MOT on this. You'll know, if you've been watching this series for a while, the cars tend to stick with me quite a bit. This was meant to be sort of a quick flip kind of job. When did I buy it? Fucking hell. July. And obviously it's now October. But yeah, hopefully soon should be up for sale. Well, it should be sold. I mean, it's a bit of an oddball kind of car, isn't it? Was maybe a bit of a risk taking it, but I say the profit is there, isn't it, when it goes. But yeah, it's an odd colour, just a fucking Suzuki Splash. What is a Suzuki Splash? But anyway, that is enough for today. Next time around, this should be sold. I'm not going to show you cleaning it. We all know how to clean a car. Then next really is the Fusion, which is just behind it. Now, my truck, if you've been watching the Deplete the Fleet series, my truck is it's at another garage to have the welding finished off. Obviously I ran out of time and lost use of a welder, but they have a Ford Fusion up there. I've been trying to keep an eye out on eBay for bumpers in the same colour. Is it Moondust Silver? The fucking stupid price, even for ones that are cracked, damaged. She's talking like 60 quid plus 40 quid delivery. It's like 200 quid for a pair of bumpers. Can't do it. So when I was up there seeing about my truck, seeing what they'll charge to finish welding that up, they had an 09 plate, which is the facelift model Fusion, in silver. I think it's the same silver right the way through. The bumpers are in better condition. I think the rear one has got a little bit of a crack where it comes down under the boot, but I did buy a cheap Chinese sort of plastic repair kit thing. So yeah, we might, next time I'm up there, I might get a bit of footage of this Fusion. So I could do with the door really as well, because there's a dent in this door. Again, I shouldn't have bought it, but you know, I was panicking. There was nothing around that, you know, had decent profit in it, and like I've said, the mileage on that did attract me. But yes, probably should have stayed clear. I think the next car we get on this series is going to be something popular, that's going to be easy to sell. It's just finding the cheap. If stuff's popular, you tend to find the price reflects that. Anyway, enough waffling. I'll see you in the next one, whenever that may be. Cheers, bye.